First thing we're going to do is make some bread dough, and then we're going to make nice even bread rolls so they all look the same. So, who's made bread before? Right. Oliver, what's fermentation?
Yeast or juice like they stretch it.
Half mark. George, what's fermentation? No idea.
No.
Anyone?
Isn't it the combination of chemicals?
No.
They like pulls them together.
No, that's alchemy.
The way you break them.
Fermentation is when we get yeast to come to life and start getting active and start getting lively, okay? Until it comes to life, the bread's not going to do anything. There's two methods to doing it. One's called sponging, where you dissolve the yeast in a liquid. It might be water, might be milk, usually warm. You wait for it to start bubbling, hence why it's called sponging, and then you'd add that to your dry. The other method is called bulk fermentation, which means everything all in, okay? So, and that's what we're going to do today. So, and this is generally the process for a lot of doughs when we're making them here. So in here I've got a half kilo of strong white flour, which is over there in the bin, okay, otherwise known as bread flour. I've got my yeast on one side of the bowl. It is quite a lot of yeast that's in this recipe as well, okay. In here I've got milk powder, which is there to give flavour, salt and sugar as well. Make sure that your yeast never touches the salt or the sugar. If they touch the salt or sugar, Joe, what do you think might happen? Think if we're living things, if we have too much salt and sugar, what happens? We die. Yep, it'll kill the yeast. So if salt sugar has direct contact to the yeast, game over, it's dead. Okay. So always, yeah. So you just end up with a real ball of stodge. It will never grow or anything. Okay. So now I know the recipe on the board says lard. We're going to use butter today, so we've got loads of butter that needs using up. Okay. Now, because it's such a small amount, all I'm going to do is just dice it into little pieces like that. As I knead the dough, which I'm going to do very soon, that butter's just going to essentially melt through, okay? So a lot of chefs will just do this straight onto the bench. Yeah, you watch Jamie Oliver, he loves to make pasta on the bench. Just from a point of view of working clean and tidy, I'm doing it in a bowl today. So it is half a litre of water, but as with all recipes in cooking, a recipe is only ever a guide, okay? Whereas the chefs have to figure out, do we actually need all that liquid going in there today? As you can see, it's coming together quite soft. The things that will affect how much water you need will be a thing called gluten, is the amount of gluten that's in the flour. Being a bread flour, would expect there to be a lot of gluten in there, so it's going to be quite strong. So as you can see, I've not used all the water, but that's just a little bit too much water. So what I'll do, so going back to gluten, when you make your dough, what we're going to do is kneading it. Kneading it is where we're just like stretching it out, developing the gluten. So it becomes nice and elastic and stretchy. The more you do this, the softer your bread rolls will be, or your bread, whatever you're making. So when you're making fancy bread like brioche and croissants, in order to get them nice and soft, you knead it really well. So you can see it's nice and soft and stretchy. I'm going to keep doing this for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then it's going back into that bowl there, cling film over it, and I'm going to let it double in size. So all you want to do is use the palm of your hand, just stretch it out. If it breaks, it doesn't matter. You just keep working it. Try not to put too much flour into it, because then it can get really heavy and stodgy and quite dry and solid. So going back to fermentation, there are 4 factors we need for fermentation to happen, which is for yeast to grow. Who wants to have a guess what they are?
What did you say, Simon? 4 factors of what? Sorry? Don't tell what they are, but it's 4 factors.
You're kind of on the right track, George. 4 things that are needed for yeast to grow.
Heat,
So, yeah, temperature.
temperature, room. Did you cast that?
No.
Cast that room, light.
No. What do we all need to grow?
Water.
Yep, so it needs some form of liquid. Food, yep, that's another one. So that's the salt and the sugar. So we've got temperature, food, moisture.
Rest.
Nope. And play hangman.
Yeah.
4-letter word. Begins with T.
Time.
Time. Time, temperature, food and moisture. They are the 4 things you need for yeast to grow, for fermentation to happen. Okay? Right, so while I keep kneading this, if you want to start measuring